Did you guys start watching the new Percy Jackson show? I kind of wanted to watch it when all of the episodes came out and then binge it, but I was too impatient, so I already started watching it. It follows the books so well that when he got claimed, I literally started tearing up because it was such a profound moment in the books when he was claimed by his dad. In the show, actually watching everything happen, I couldn't handle it and I kind of teared up. My little 11-year-old heart is screaming. In today's video, I thought I would share my top favorite reads of the year. They're in no particular order. They're just books that I really enjoyed reading and I would save them all in a fire if I had to. For the first book I want to start with, it's going to be Beach Read by Emily Henry. This book deserves all the hype that it gets because I was obsessed with it. It follows Augustus and January. They live in neighboring beach houses. January has the worst writer's block and she is trying to find creative inspiration because she has a book that has to come out in a few months and she hasn't started anything. What ends up happening is that they make a bet and basically Augustus and January each have to write what the other person has written about. Whoever writes the best novel wins. Their chemistry is amazing. The conversations that they have, I cried a little bit, I laughed. It's just such a great book. It has everything that you would need. I think I read it in one sitting, and if I could erase my memories and reread books again, this would be one of them. Well, basically all the books that I'm going to talk about today would be on the list of books that I would want my memory wiped of so I could reread them and fall in love with everyone all over again. For the next book, it's Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I am so obsessed with Kai. There are people known as elites and those are the people that have powers, and then there are other people who are called ordinary and they possess no power. And so Peyton is our main female character and she is an ordinary disguised as a psychic because if they find out that you are ordinary they kill you. So she has been pretending to be a psychic all of her life and she has it down to a T. She saves Prince Kai's life. She didn't know that he was a prince at the time, but she immediately regretted saving him, as one does. The people of the little town that she lives in signed her up for the purging trials. It's kind of like the Hunger Games in a way. In these trials, it's a way for all of the elite to showcase their powers. It's basically killing each other like they do in the Hunger Games. It's so good. The chemistry between these characters is a chef's kiss. It's funny. The female character is so witty and doesn't seem affected by the male character, but you already know that she's gonna fall for him. It's just so good. You will immediately become obsessed with the interactions that they have just to hear them talk to each other. I highly recommend it. The next book that I want to talk about, it's The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I know that I have mentioned this book quite frequently, but it's because it is well deserved and anybody who has not read this book needs to read it. It's part of a series. You can read it as a standalone, but I would recommend you reading all three of the books just because all of the characters are in each of the books and you get to really know everyone and it's very found family. This book follows Indy and Ryan. Ryan is a famous basketball player. They end up becoming roommates. It's fake dating, close proximity. It's fake dating but not in a cliche way. Like you want them to go out and fake date just to see the reaction that comes from Ryan, and he's very attentive and pays close attention to detail when it comes to her. She's a vegetarian and they went out camping with his coach and some other people and he brought her vegetarian stuff just because she told him that she was vegetarian. His acts of service are phenomenal. If you have not read this book, you should definitely read it because your expectations of what a good book boyfriend should look like will completely change once you read this book because he is so perfect. The rest of the books I'm going to talk about are series, and I've already talked about them before. I'm going to start off with the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. This series has touch her and you die trope. It has someone is injured and they have to clean their wound. It's done so well. This series also has the slowest slow burn of your life. You want them to get together so bad and it takes so long for them to get together. You're giddy and giggling just because they spoke words to each other. There's no spice in this duology, and I think that makes it so much more special, especially with the connection that each of the characters has with the person that they're attracted to. You can tell that there is chemistry, and the little moments that they have together where they're talking or you're in the other person's head and you can see what they're feeling and thinking, it makes the experience so much better. Also, if you haven't read it, you should definitely read it just so you can be obsessed with everyone. The next series that I want to talk about is obviously the All for the Game series by Nora Sakovic. I don't know how to say her last name. This series has the slowest slow burn of your life, like the slowest slow burn. Also, if you're going to read it, you should definitely search up trigger warnings. It's not for everybody, but if you delve into this series, then you'll understand why people are so obsessed. I will definitely be rereading them in the future just because I miss being in this world. For the next series that I want to talk about, it's the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. You should also definitely search up trigger warnings because there are some very, very heavy topics. That series in general will make you sob your eyes out and you will feel like you do not want to go on just because you're going through so much pain. And then she'll make it all better by giving everyone a happy ending, but it's a journey to get there. She made such perfect characters and you feel so hard for everything that they're going through. The last series that I want to talk about, it's going to be, if you guessed already, the Sarah J Maas universe. And to start off, I want to talk about the ACOTAR series, in particular A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin, but also A Court of Silver Flames. I don't have it with me because my best friend hasn't given it back to me yet. These three books were my favorite out of the whole series. This book made me become so obsessed with the series. I lost countless hours of sleep while reading them, but it was so worth it. This book made me cry, and then the next book, Court of Silver Flames, made me bawl my eyes out, but they're so good. If you haven't read any of the Sarah J Maas books, I think this is your sign to go ahead and start reading them because you will become obsessed and you will never want to leave this universe once you delve into it. It's definitely a commitment, but once you commit, there's no going back. You're all in, all or nothing, and you just have to continue and know that there will be pain. But she also has mostly happy endings for everyone. The next series by her that I want to talk about is Throne of Glass. My favorites from this series were these four books, which is Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and this one in particular, which is Kingdom of Ash. I think this one is the one that made me become so obsessed with this series. Well, it was mostly the third one that made me start to be like, okay, this series is good, and I'm not as confused as I was when I started the first book, because you're just there trying to figure out where she's taking everything and you're left in the dark for a lot of it, but then she wraps everything up so well. And all of the characters in this series are so well thought out. Each of them has a big part to play as a whole, so it's just so good, and you should definitely read this as well. The last series is Crescent City and House of Sky and Breath. Also obsessed with that series. Those two books, in my opinion, were both really good. It's like you're watching Supernatural, but you're reading it instead of watching. There's a lot of supernatural stuff, there's murder, there's mystery, and it's so good. She takes you on a whole different adventure, and each of her series are so different from each other. They leave such a lasting impact on you that you just want to continue reading all of her stuff. And I'm so excited for it to be January 30th. I'm counting down the days. I'm gonna be that person that wakes up early and is standing outside of Barnes & Noble in line waiting for the doors to open so I can run and get my hands on the third book. Those are all of my favorite reads that I have read in the year of 2020. I was about to say 2024, in the year of 2023. Let me know if you've read any. Let me know what your top reads were for this year. And I'll see you next time. Bye!